Ulterion had forgotten to grab the potaton when he left Pimpel, land of the hill dwarves. On his journey back, he did find the potaton and a party of orc bandits, but that's a story for now. Ulterion was thrown to the floor of a mansion by two orcs. Ulterion tried to pick himself up,
Listen, I don't know what you were doing in Pimpel, and I don't.
but the orc boot caught him in the back and pushed him into a kneeling position.
Kneel before the dawn.
Ulterion looked up to find himself staring at a familiar face. Standing over Ulterion was Don Parmesan. He was an older, rotund orc man wearing the finest black robes. Ulterion had done business with the Don a year or two ago. Ulterion didn't remember that the business didn't end well, at least not for the Don.
Good evening, Ulterion.
Hello?
Don Parmesan glared down at Ulterion.
Thirsty?
Ulterion looked at him in confusion.
Yes?
The Don smirked.
How do you feel about fish?
Ulterion looked up at the Don in horror. When orc crime lords ask about fish, it usually means someone is found in a lake, or a river, or any body of water. Basically, they drown people. Ulterion was pleasantly surprised to find himself at a table eating a fish dinner instead of sleeping with the fishers.
Thanks for the meal.
The Don sat across from Ulterion, smiling and nodding.
Glad you like it. I made it myself.
Ulterion stopped chewing as he stared at the Don while dropping his fork. The Don gave Ulterion a dubious look.
If I wanted to kill you, I wouldn't use poison, and it would have been done by now.
Ulterion swallowed the last bite he took. Ulterion smiled nervously, not thinking about the fish in his teeth.
Thanks, but I have to ask, why the hospitality?
The Don's face became serious.
Not that I don't appreciate it, of course.
The last time I used your services, you caused me a lot of gold.
Ulterion nodded.
I have to repeat my question.
I'm getting there. Don't interrupt.
Ulterion silenced himself.
Despite our misunderstandings, you're one of the best negotiators I know. That's why I have a job for you.
Ulterion was taken aback.
Really? How much?
The Don glared at Ulterion.
Forgiveness of transgressions.
That sounds like a good payment.
The Don smiled.
I thought it might be.
Ulterion went out into the orcish city of Radiola, one of Ortaly's major cities. His job was to send a message to Don Parmesan's rival, Don Ravioli. They had been fighting for years. Don Parmesan wanted to broker peace, at least that's what he told Ulterion. Ulterion didn't really care. He wanted to finish his courier job, pay off his debt, and get the orc Noodles, the next item on his list. Ulterion made his way through the crowded streets. Ulterion, getting tired of getting bumped by civilians, civil would be the last word to describe it, so he ducked into a nearby alley. He figured it was a shortcut. Ulterion walked down the dark alley. He was taken aback about how silent it got.
I'm regretting my choice.
There was a sudden noise that got Ulterion's attention. He spun round to see rats playing in the garbage that littered the alley.
I have to be less jumpy.
Ulterion turned to find himself staring into the face of an orc thug.
You have a message for Don Ravioli?
Ulterion jumped back a bit.
Huh? Where did you come from?
The orc thug smiled.
Forget about it.
More orc thugs seemed to appear out of the shadows behind the first orc thug.
Just hand over the message.
Ulterion eyed the orc bandit suspiciously.
Do you work for Don Ravioli?
Like I said,
The orc thug's smile disappeared.
forget about it.
Ulterion continued to back away.
I think I'm supposed to deliver this letter to the Don myself. Thank you for your help, though. Goodbye.
Ulterion turned to run, but ran into another orc thug.
Where are all of you coming from?
The orc thug leader reached out his hand.
Hand over the message.
Ulterion watched the orc thugs close in. His mind grasped for any solution that would get him out of this. As he was about to give the orc thug leader the message, someone shouted.
Leave him alone.
The orc thugs turned around to see a half-orc dressed in red clothes with a red cape. He glared at the orc thug leader.
Let him do his job.
The orc thug leader looked to his fellows.
Buddy, you need to mind your own business.
The half-orc unsheathed a rapier and pointed it towards the orc thug leader.
This is very much my business.
The orc thug leader shakes his head.
My friend,
The orc thugs unsheathed their weapons.
you will regret this.
The half-orc sneered.
You must be a thief,
The half-orc got into a defensive stance with his sword.
because you stole the words right out of my mouth.
The orc thug leader pointed at the half-orc.
Get him.
The orc thugs charged towards the half-orc and engaged in combat with the stranger. Since no one was paying attention to Ulterion, he slowly backed away.
I'll see myself out.
Ulterion ran down the street. He didn't know where he was going, but he knew he needed to get far away. Ulterion ran into an alley and leaned against a wall like a spider.
I think I lost them.
Ulterion turned to find a muscular orc man standing in front of him.
Who are...
The orc clamped his hand on Ulterion's mouth.
Quiet.
Ulterion tried to talk, but he couldn't through the orc's meaty hand. The orc looked around, then whispered to Ulterion.
I'm here to help you.
The orc grabbed Ulterion's arm and dragged him away.
Let's go.
The orc and Ulterion found their way to an abandoned restaurant. After they entered, the orc slammed the door behind them.
We should be safe here.
Ulterion fights to catch his breath.
Thanks, by the way. Who are you?
Ulterion's new orc friend moved old furniture against the windows. As he addressed Ulterion.
My name is Julian.
Nice to meet you. Do you know the half-orc?
His name is Rotonio. We're working together.
So he's your friend?
Julian looked a bit nervous.
Something like that.
Ulterion plopped himself into an old chair.
So, what's the plan now?
Julian shrugged.
We wait.
Ulterion shrugged.
Sounds good. I could use the rest.
Ulterion was about to close his eyes, then a thought came to him.
Say, I don't know why you're helping me, but I'm going to take a nap. Could you not kill me while I sleep?
Julian smirked.
Now while you sleep.
Ulterion smiled.
Thanks,
Ulterion's look went from a smile to a suspicious glare.
I think.
Ulterion delivered the letter to Don Ravioli.
Thank you, my boy. Hey.
Don Ravioli suddenly grasped his chest. Ulterion looked on with concern.
Sir, are you...
Don Ravioli sank to his knees. Then fell to his side, dead.
Oh my god.
Ulterion looked around to find all of the Don's men. One orc thug shouted.
Ulterion was the last to touch the dawn. That means he's the new dawn.
Ulterion looked around in confusion.
What?
It is the dawn of a new dawn. All hail Dawn Ulterion.
All the orc thugs kneel.
Huzzah! Huzzah! Huzzah!
Ulterion bashed in the praise.
Huzzah! Huzzah! Huzzah!
Until he heard.
Oh my god, Rotonio.
The voice filled the room, though it seemed Ulterion was the only one who heard it.
Huh?
Ulterion awoke. To find Julian carrying an injured Rotonio.
He's hurt.
Ulterion panicked.
Oh my god.
The wounded Rotonio lay on a table holding his bleeding side. Julian held his hand.
I told you not to take all those men by yourself, you dummy.
Rotonio smiled weakly up at Julian.
I needed to protect you. To protect us.
Julian smiles with his eyes welling up with tears.
The plan don't work if you die, genius.
Rotonio tenderly caressed Julian's cheek.
At least your face is the last thing I see.
Julian shook his head in defiance.
Hey, don't you talk like that. We're going to help you. Don't you dare die on me.
Rotonio looked into Julian's eyes.
I love you, you mook.
Julian smiled and shook his head.
I love you too, you dum-dum.
The two men shared a deep kiss. Ulterion watched in surprise.
Oh.
The two orcish men stopped their kiss and looked at Ulterion in surprise.
I've seen close friendships, but nothing like that.
Julian smiled nervously.
To be honest, I forgot you were here.
Ulterion shrugged and nodded.
Understandable. You were distracted.
Ulterion looked at Rotonio with concern.
Is he alright?
Julian looked to Rotonio, grim.
I don't know.
Julian looked to Ulterion in desperation.
Is there anything you could do?
Ulterion looked from Julian to Rotonio, and Julian, then back to Rotonio, in desperation himself.
I think so.
Julian's face lit up with a smile.
Really? Yes, through my travels I've learned to dress wounds. You serious? Of course. I've made a few enemies through my life. I've had to be able to help myself. Great.
Julian gestured towards Rotonio.
Get to work.
Ulterion looked from Julian to Rotonio and panicked.
What? Oh, right.
Ulterion looked around frantically. Ulterion and Julian managed to find a bit of needle and thread. Ulterion sewed Rotonio's wound.
Ow!
Sorry.
Ow!
Sorry.
Ow!
Sorry.
Rotonio slept on his makeshift table bed as Julian and Ulterion watched.
I wish I could sleep like that.
Julian smiled.
Yeah, I could do without the snoring.
Julian looked to Ulterion.
How many wounds have you patched up?
Ulterion pointed to Rotonio.
Including him?
Julian nodded.
Yeah.
Ulterion looked away sheepishly.
One.
Julian stared at Ulterion in shock.
What?
Ulterion shrugged.
If I told you the truth, I thought you might kill me or something.
Julian was about to reprimand Ulterion. Then he thought about it.
That's actually fair.
Rotonio eventually awoke. Julian hugged his friend.
I'm glad you're okay.
Rotonio grimaced in pain.
Not so tight. I'm not that okay.
Julian let go of his lover.
Oh, sorry.
Rotonio painfully picked himself up from his bed and looked towards Ulterion.
Thanks for the help.
Ulterion shrugged.
Don't worry about it.
I have to ask you another favor.
What is it?
Rotonio held out his hand.
Give me the message.
Ulterion backed away in fear.
Whoa. Come on, fellas. I just helped you out.
Rotonio shook his head.
You don't understand. I know what the message is.
What?
It's a letter from my father brokering peace with Julian's father. Through marriage.
Ulterion nodded and shrugged.
I knew about the peace thing, but not the marriage. Wait. If you're the sons of Dons, then you two could get married.
Julian and Rotonio looked at each other nervously, then back at Ulterion.
Yeah, about that.
Our dads are more traditional.
Ulterion looked at the two men curiously.
Traditional? What does that... Oh...
Julian and Rotonio nodded.
It turns out two sons can't produce an heir.
They want him to marry my sister.
Ulterion scratched his head.
Couldn't you just fake the wedding?
We thought about that, but I couldn't do that to my sister. She deserves someone she actually loves.
Plus, we want to leave this life.
Who are the orc thugs trying to kill you?
Those were Don Aoli's men. They want our families to keep fighting while he slowly takes over under our father's noses.
I see.
Ulterion rubbed his chin as he thought. He smiled as a plan came to him.
Then I guess you two have to die.
Julian and Rotonio looked at each other in shock. Don Ravioli sat at his dinner table eating pasta. When an orc thug walked in,
Boss, there's someone here to see you.
Don Ravioli rolled his eyes.
Can't wait till I'm done eating.
Ulterion burst into the room, looking beat up and bloody.
It can't.
Ulterion fell to the floor unconscious. Ulterion woke up in a luxury bed and looked around the luxury room with a smile.
This place is great. Almost worth the beating I had those two give me.
Ulterion was assisted into Don Ravioli's meeting hall. The Don was in a somber mood.
Thank you for bringing me this message. It is a shame that you couldn't save my son.
I'm sorry I couldn't save Don Parmesan's son either.
There are only two things I can do for my late son now. I will broker peace between me and Don Parmesan.
Don Ravioli looked to the ceiling and shook his fist.
And I will get my revenge on Don Aoli.
Ulterion smiled nervously.
Sounds good, Don Ravioli. Quick question. Could I get some orc noodles?
Don Ravioli gave Ulterion a puzzled look.
Huh?
Ulterion walked through a street in the city. When he was sure no one was watching, he ducked into an alley.
Boy.
Ulterion walked through the alley until he heard someone call for him.
Hey.
Two hooded figures came towards Ulterion. He laughed nervously.
Fellows, let's relax.
The hooded figures drew closer.
Don't worry, no one saw me.
Both hooded figures gave sighs of relief as they took off their hoods, revealing them to be Julian and Rotonio.
Thank goodness.
Julian grabbed Ulterion's hand and shook it furiously.
I can't thank you enough.
And Ulterion pulled his hand away and rubbed his shoulders.
Careful. You guys did a number on me.
Both orcish men laughed nervously.
We had to make it believable.
I know.
Ulterion rubbed his bruised chin.
But you didn't have to make it that believable.
I'm sad that my father thinks I'm dead.
Ulterion shrugged.
That is sad, but you two can start a new life and be together.
Rotonio and Julian held each other's hands and looked deep into each other's eyes.
We must have died.
And gone to heaven.
The orcish men kissed each other passionately on the mouth. Ulterion watched with a smile.
Aww, that's so cute.
The orcish men's kiss grew more passionate, which made Ulterion uncomfortable.
I'll leave you two alone.
Ulterion backed away.